Hi, this video is going to be a little different from my last videos. In my last videos I was harping on about the importance of living a balanced lifestyle with enough sleep, a good diet and plenty of exercise. Now, to prove to you guys that I'm actually living this way myself, I thought it would be nice to give you a little insight into what I've been doing for the last year and what I've been planning for the coming 12 months. Now, I've always been a pretty sporty guy myself and have always been fascinated by nutrition and how it impacts our health and overall well-being. But to be honest, my attempts to stay healthy and fit have always been a bit, let's say, half-hearted. Sure, I do some exercise most of the time, but I would also drink quite a lot, far too often indulge in unhealthy eating, and pay little to no attention to my sleep. You know, going out to a restaurant, eat and drink while I want it, go to bed in the middle of night, have a poor night's sleep because of the food and alcohol, and then the next day go for a half-hour jog and believe that that jog would make everything okay again. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. So what changed? Well, a few things. I read the book Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker and Alcohol Explained by William Porter, which made a great impact on me. So much so that I quit drinking and started paying a lot more attention to my sleep. Now, this was about 1.5 years ago. Then in the spring of this year, so 6 months ago, I was on holiday in Cambrils, Spain. That's a little village on the Mediterranean coast. And the day my wife and I arrived, there was a triathlon going on in the village. And I don't know, it just seemed like good fun to me to train and start participating in events like that. So I decided then and there that I was going to start training and take my health and fitness much more seriously from now on. So since then I took a couple of practical steps and I want to share what actually worked and didn't work so well for me. I have to start with sleep. Because that was definitely the most important one. And of all the changes I've made in the last 15 months, this one has had the most impact by far. Like I said previously, sleep was never a consideration for me. I would go to bed when I felt like it and wake up when I needed to. According to Apple Health, I was averaging around 6.5 to 7 hours sleep every night. Now that doesn't sound too bad, but I can tell you that for me, that was at least 1.5 hours too short every night. My average now, over the last month, is 8 hours and 24 hours, so almost 2 hours longer, according to Apple Health. So what has been the benefit of this in my life? Well, where to start? I have much better mood. I'm calm and relaxed, and no matter what happens in life, I feel I can handle it. I have a positive outlook on life, I have much more energy, I look better, and my sport performance has increased phenomenally. So if I had to sum it all up, I would say that my life is easier and far more enjoyable than it has been before. And I have to say that for me, this has been the easiest change with the greatest benefit of everything I've tried so far. So how have I made this a part of my life? Well, the first thing I did was make sleep important in my mind. I convinced myself that sleep is not a waste of time, but by far the most important thing you can do to have a good life. This means I plan my sleep. Every evening I go to bed at 9:30 and I get up at 7. And that means weekends, weekdays, holidays, always. And like I said, I made this a priority. This means I plan the rest of my day around my sleep. For example, if I have to travel, I will try very hard to make sure it doesn't disturb my sleep schedule. I would rather take a later flight than get up extra early or go to bed too late. Of course, it cannot always be avoided, but I will always try my best to get 8.5 hours at the times I just mentioned. Now, the second thing that made quite an impact in the last year and a half was giving up alcohol. Just like sleep, I never really gave alcohol much thought. I would simply drink when I felt like it, mostly in the weekends at parties and restaurants, And I never even considered alcohol as having a negative impact on my life. But what do you know? Turns out it does. Even if it's just because alcohol really hampers a good night's sleep. So how has quitting alcohol made a positive impact? Well, many of the same things sleep did. So, I got a better mood, I got more energy and overall better and more positive life. But what amazed me the most about giving up alcohol is the freedom you regain. I feel I have much more control over myself during social events. And after the event, I feel fine. No hangover the next day, I can just go on with whatever I had planned. Now, I will probably make a separate video about alcohol because it's a topic on its own. Well, I also dove into the world of supplements to see if that could give me some benefits. And here I'm much more nuanced. I jumped on the MNN bandwagon, started taking resveratrol, TMD, and Glynac, and at this point I'm not sure I will continue with this. I do believe NMN does have some positive benefits, but it could also just be in my head and the placebo effect, you know. I will keep monitoring it, and when I have more definitive answer, I will probably make a video about it. Then I want to shortly touch on diet. I'm one of those people who's tried, well, almost everything. I've been a vegan and I've been a carnivore and everything in between. And I know I'm not receiving any love for this, but I found they all work, sort of. What I mean by this is they all do what they say. You lose weight and you get more energy from them, and they make you feel better, no doubt. But I've come to believe this says more about the poor quality of our standard highly processed diet than any of the popular modern diets like vegan, keto, paleo, carnivore, and everything in between. So how I approach food now, and this works for me, and if you have different experiences, please do what works for you. But I just focus on eating whole foods. I cook my own meals as much as possible and track everything I eat in MyFitnessPal. And if I start to put on weight, I just simply decrease my calories somewhat, and vice versa if I start losing too much weight. Now, this works for me just fine. Then we come to exercise, which this video is really about. Like I said, I've always done some sort of sport, be it cycling, weights, soccer, or jogging, you name it. But it was always very ad hoc. So what changed? Well, now I'm training for big events to take part in, and I feel that training with a goal keeps me focused and engaged with the sport I'm doing. So last month I participated in SURM, which stands for Schwarzwald Ultra Rad Marathon, so Black Forest Ultra Bike Marathon. This is a cycling event through the Black Forest in the south of Germany, and the course was a little over 160 kilometers with 2,000 meters of climbing. And I can honestly say the day was an absolute success. I finished the course in under 5.5 hours and felt great the entire day. I had a blast. Now in my next video I will dive deeper into this event, and I will explain how I prepared for it and how the day itself unfolded. Now this is all in the rearview mirror. So what lies ahead? Well, winter is coming, and although I really enjoy riding my bike, I don't believe it's much fun when it's raining and cold outside. So for the coming months, I'm switching to running. And on the 21st of April next year, I will be participating in the Zurich Marathon. Now, I've done a half marathon a couple of years back, but this is the first time I'm going to do a complete marathon. So that's completely new for me. So for the coming months, I will be training hard to get fit enough to complete this event. And I'm going to be training using Garmin's daily suggestions. I got a Garmin Forerunner, and I will use that because I'm really curious to see if that works. And it could very well be that it doesn't work and I have to switch to some sort of a training program. But for now, I'm starting with this. Now, once this event is done, I will be switching back to my bike because in the summer I really enjoy riding my bike. And in August next year I will participate in the Marmont-Velay. This is a very hard cycling event in the Alps. We will be riding 145 kilometers, but we will be climbing 4,500 meters. For anyone who cycles, I don't have to explain what that means. And for those who don't, it's basically hard climbing in the mountains all day long. If after that event I still feel like cycling, I want to participate in the same event I did last month in the south of Germany, because that was just good fun. So these are my sport goals for the next 12 months. However, sport in itself is not my goal. My real goal is to remain healthy and fit for as long as possible. So I'll be closely monitoring certain markers to track my progress. Now, according to Peter Attia, VO2 max is one of the best indicators for longevity and health. So this will be my primary focus. At present, my VO2 max is 50, which is not bad at all. But since this metric is so crucial, my goal will be to reach 55. And now, in addition to keeping check and enhancing my cardiovascular fitness, there will be two other areas I want to concentrate on. That's strength and flexibility. Luckily, I have a small gym in my house, which allows me to have quality workouts without spending too much time traveling to and from the gym. In my gym, I will engage in weight training using free weights, and I'll do some calisthenics. Now, I will share the details of my training in a separate video, but my emphasis is on building upper body and core strength. The third aspect I'm focusing on is flexibility, and I feel a lot of people neglect this. Engaging in a lot of running and strength training can make you become very stiff. Now recently I came across the app Pliability through a video I was watching from Mark Lewis, and this app guides you through various stretching programs. And the difference here is that you're holding each pose for a significant amount of time, sometimes up to 5 to 6 minutes. This encourages muscle relaxation and effective stretching. The result of this is an increased range of motion, and that seriously reduces the risk of injuries during running and strength training. Now, what's really good about this app is that it includes a flexibility test. You perform a series of movements in front of your phone camera, and the app analyzes your movements and provides you with a score. And this works surprisingly well. My score was a modest 69 with 5 specific areas I need to focus on. Now my goal for the next 12 months is to raise this score to around 85 or above. So yeah, I got many exciting things to participate in the future, and I'm eager to share updates of my progress with all of you through YouTube. And I will make sure to keep you well informed and engaged as I continue on my journey. So that's it from me right now. I hope to see you guys the next time. I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you next time. Take care and bye bye.